In the explosive legal battle between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, new text messages reveal shocking behind-the-scenes drama. From Blake Lively's alleged push to control the film's edit to these apparent mentions of Taylor Swift.
No, we're like, oh my God, there's not enough time.
And they score again.
Yeah.
Again.
It's like, oh my God, I forgot to tell you something else.
So we also have a new gag order request from Lively and her husband, actor Ryan Reynolds, who is named as a defendant in this litigation.
Unwanted sexual harassment at work or unwanted touching at work is going to watch that video and relate and see that, and I have to agree.
Lay them out. Put them on a website for the world to see. Have them see the truth and determine the truth for themselves.
The ongoing legal battle between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has taken Hollywood by storm, with new evidence surfacing that has further escalated tensions. Allegations of harassment, defamation, and creative control struggles have sparked heated public debates and cast a spotlight on the power dynamics within the entertainment industry. Blake Lively has accused Justin Baldoni of inappropriate behavior during the filming of It Ends With Us, claiming he fostered a hostile work environment. In response, Baldoni filed a countersuit alleging defamation and manipulation. With both sides presenting conflicting evidence and narratives, the dispute has snowballed into a $400 million lawsuit, implicating other Hollywood heavyweights, including Lively's husband, Ryan Reynolds.
Hollywood is still trying to wrap their heads around this major legal battle that's happening between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively after he filed this bombshell lawsuit accusing her, along with her husband, Ryan Reynolds, of trying to smear him and damage his reputation. Namely, the claims here are false allegations of a hostile work environment and sexual harassment that were made against him in connection with the production of the movie It Ends With Us that starred both him and Blake Lively. And although we did a previous breakdown of this entire lawsuit, and you can check it out on our Long Crime YouTube page, what we want to focus upon right now are those text messages, those never-before-seen text messages embedded in this complaint that make up a big part of what is a staggering $400 million lawsuit. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down the most shocking revelations from these text messages. But first I have to give you some backstory on this in case you haven't been following the day in and day out of this case. So the conflict began in December of 2024 when Blake Lively filed a formal complaint with the California Civil Rights Department.
The drama began when Lively accused Baldoni of harassment, citing incidents such as uninvited trailer visits, unsolicited physical contact, and improvised scenes without her consent. Baldoni countered with allegations that Lively fabricated her claims to gain creative control over the film. What started as a professional disagreement has devolved into a media and courtroom battle.
The It Ends With Us drama is back and headed to court.
We take it very, very seriously.
After a tense press tour for the blockbuster earlier this year,
I think Blake Lively's ready to direct. That's what I think. So, yeah.
Blake Lively suing the film's director and her co-star, Justin Baldoni, accusing him of sexual harassment on set, retaliation, and attempting to damage her reputation. Allegations Justin denies.
As hard as this choice is, we break the pattern. Or the pattern breaks us.
Some of the biggest bombshells in the 80-page lawsuit claim Blake and her husband Ryan Reynolds attended a January meeting with Justin and the CEO of his production company, Steve Heath, to address a hostile work environment. She accused them of showing nude images, discussing pornography habits, and making inappropriate comments about their genitalia to her and other employees. Allegedly, the meeting ended with the men agreeing to stop the list of behaviors.
Lively's lawsuit paints a grim picture of her experiences on set. She alleges that Baldoni made inappropriate remarks about her postpartum body, entered her trailer without consent while she was breastfeeding, and orchestrated a retaliatory PR campaign after she voiced concerns. These claims, she argues, reflect a pattern of behavior that created an unsafe and unprofessional work environment.
Blake's complaint also accuses Justin of adding explicit sexual content and nude scenes to It Ends With Us without her consent, including an on-camera orgasm, and asking Blake invasive questions about her sex life, then pushing her to simulate nudity during a birthing scene, dismissing her objections.
I shouldn't be hired for that.
While allowing the set to remain open, allowing non-essential crew to pass while Blake was mostly nude.
What is happening?
Now, when it comes to the alleged smear campaign against Blake, Blake claims Justin orchestrated the campaign to ruin her reputation after she reported on-set harassment. According to the document, Justin allegedly hired a PR specialist to engage in astroturfing, which, in simple terms, involves creating fake public backlash to damage the actress's credibility. Screenshots in the complaint show Justin's publicist texting the PR specialist that Justin wanted Blake to feel like she could be buried.
Baldoni has vehemently denied Lively's allegations, describing them as a calculated attempt to take control of the production. He argues that text messages and behind-the-scenes footage reveal a professional relationship. His legal team asserts that Lively sought to rewrite scenes and dictate edits, going beyond the traditional role of an actor to exert influence over the film.
There was this explosive piece in the New York Times with this very dramatic headline from the publicist saying, "We can bury anyone." Well, on that same day, Justin Baldoni sued the New York Times for libel for $250 million, saying that Blake Lively had conspired with the New York Times to make him look like this bad individual when really it was all Lively. Well, now he's put all of that in a lawsuit against Lively and, like you said, Ryan Reynolds, in which he says, hold on a second, it wasn't me orchestrating a smear campaign against Lively. It was actually Blake Lively, her husband, her PR team coming at me because we had creative differences over the film. So he is seeking over $400 million. This was filed in New York. It's a civil complaint, not a criminal complaint, but we could see this play out in a courtroom.
And there's so much here, but what is now Blake Lively or her husband, Ryan Reynolds, the actor, what are they saying? Anything?
We haven't heard anything.
One major point of contention is Lively's alleged demand for access to dailies, raw footage from the film's shoot. Baldoni claims that this request was unprecedented for an actor and caused tension with the production team. Lively's insistence on reviewing and influencing the footage reportedly led Sony, the film's distributor, to approve her version of the movie, sidelining Baldoni in the process.
Is that Lively sought to gain control over the editing process of the film. This is important because during the 2023 writer's strike, Baldoni started editing the footage that had already been shot. But that's when Lively apparently expressed a strong interest in accessing the raw dailies. These usually aren't shared with the cast, according to Baldoni. But Lively apparently also wanted to have a hand in the editing process, and a text from her appears to read, "Hey, would you mind giving me access to the dailies? I appreciate you may be too slammed right now to make this happen, but maybe someone else can facilitate?" Just to put a point on this, dailies are a critical point of the filmmaking process, the editing process. The actors don't typically get access to them. If they do, it's usually rare, requires special permission. But here, Lively allegedly repeatedly pushed for access to this because it was evidenced by her follow-up text in July of 2023 that reads, "Please let me know who to reach out to get access to the full gallery of dailies. I'm so looking forward to seeing all that we have in the can." This request allegedly raised some concern among the film's crew. A producer and the CEO of Wayfarer Studios, Jamie Heath, are reportedly shown to be against granting Lively access to the dailies because the messages from the lawsuit reveal their apparent resistance to the idea. There's one that says, "I'd say no, but check her contract first." That's what one producer said.
According to Baldoni, Sony's decision to back Lively's version of the film left him feeling excluded. He claims he wasn't consulted on key decisions and only saw the final cut at the premiere. Adding to his frustration, Baldoni and his family were allegedly seated apart from the main event at the premiere, further highlighting the strained dynamic.
Baldoni claims that Lively had successfully convinced Sony, the distributor of the film, to let her create her own cut of the film. Allegedly, that she threatened that she wouldn't promote the movie if it wasn't her version, if it wasn't her cut. So no longer was she merely sitting in on the editing process with him. According to him, she was now fully in charge of her version of the film. And that version, according to Sony, was the one that ended up being released in theaters. Now, Baldoni argues he never even got to see this final cut before it was shown to the public. A text exchange from July reveals Baldoni's frustration with this situation because he apparently told someone whose name is redacted that he had still not seen the locked cut of the movie. I have not seen the locked cut of the film. Evidently, it's been worked on more and she's been mixing. I'm getting to give notes as a studio today, not a director. Very hard, but I'm okay. Now, an editor responding to Baldoni's concerns noted, the last I heard was that she was putting a fair amount of our version. Just not sure what that entailed or to what extent. I guess you'll find out. And indeed, Baldoni did find out at the New York premiere on August 6th of 2024, because according to Baldoni, he was not initially even permitted to attend the event. He claims that it was only after Wayfarer allegedly convinced Lively to allow him to attend that he was granted access, that she was blocking him from coming.
Baldoni's legal team has presented text messages and video clips they say refute Lively's claims. One text reportedly shows Lively inviting Baldoni into her trailer while breastfeeding, which Baldoni's team argues contradicts her allegations. Video footage from the set, according to Baldoni, demonstrates a collaborative and professional environment, though Lively's team insists it reveals her discomfort.
Blake claims in her lawsuit that Justin went off script while microphones were off. However, it appears the actors' mics were switched on. Blake and Justin filled the silent scene with chatting.
She tries to redirect things as he's kissing her, like talk about the lighting, or say, hey, let's just talk right now in the scene instead of kissing. I think that can be intimate too.
Ryan, go to the bar. Ryan, go to the bar.
Blake's own lawyer even said any woman who has experienced unwanted sexual harassment at work or unwanted touching at work is going to watch that video and relate and see that, and I have to agree.
And my nose
is so big.
Yes, I was hoping that we could address this. It's not too late.
Many fans are claiming those jokes Blake made about Justin's nose sound like Mean Girl comments, but Paige said instances like these should not have any influence on her sexual harassment claims.
I just want to remind people, two things can be mutually exclusive. You can be unlikable or a mean girl and also be sexually harassed or retaliated against. And I think a lot more evidence is going to come out.
Baldoni's countersuit accuses Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift of using their influence to support Lively's takeover of the project. He claims Reynolds berated him during meetings and pressured him to accept Lively's script changes. Baldoni's legal team argues that these actions reflect a coordinated effort to undermine his authority as director.
And this is where, out of all people, music sensation pop star Taylor Swift allegedly comes in. Why? Because Baldoni claims that at Lively's New York penthouse, he is confronted by Ryan Reynolds, again her husband, and their very good friend, Taylor Swift. And they end up telling Baldoni how great Lively's version of the script is. They're praising it. And Baldoni says in the complaint that he understood this to mean you better comply with Lively's direction of the script. So in response to that, he apparently texts Blake Lively that he likes her script. His text reads, also was working on the rooftop scene today. I really love what you did. It really does help a lot. Makes it so much more fun and interesting. And I would have felt that way without Ryan and Taylor. Now, in response, Lively had expressed what was her initial disappointment with Justin Baldoni's idea, first let's combine your draft with the original draft. And she seemed to be really bothered by Baldoni praising her passion for the scene as opposed to her actual contribution of her work.
Lively and her legal team have sought a gag order to prevent Baldoni's team from releasing additional evidence to the media. They argue that such disclosures could taint the jury pool and compromise the fairness of the trial. Critics, however, suggest the gag order indicates concern over the potential impact of Baldoni's evidence.
There is a more fundamental problem with Mr. Freeman's litigation via press statement strategy. As Ms. Lively's counsel have attempted repeatedly to caution Mr. Freeman, federal litigation must be conducted in court and according to the relevant rules of professional conduct. And this is where they say that he may have violated rules of professional conduct, like the rule against out-of-court statements that could likely substantially prejudice a trial or a jury. And then it goes on to say the Lively Reynolds parties intend to seek an appropriate protective order to govern further proceedings in this case, but given the imminent harm caused by Mr. Friedman's misleading and selective statements and leaks, we respectfully request that this court schedule a hearing as soon as possible to address the appropriate conduct of counsel moving forward in these two related matters. What exactly do you make of their argument? Are they asking for a gag order, and do you think they'll be successful? What do you make of what they're saying?
Yeah, so I definitely think they're asking for what's essentially a gag order. So the way that it works in the Southern District of New York is depending on which federal judge you have to make a request to the judge for a hearing. You can't just automatically file for a motion for a gag order for some judges. So I think that's what they're asking for here. I think the likelihood of it happening, it might be plausible, right? So generally federal judges are a little bit cautious with gag orders because it triggers, First Amendment, protection of free speech, protection of freedom of the press. But a lot of times in high profile cases like this, judges are more apt to grant them.
Lively has faced criticism for her interactions with colleagues, with some accusing her of being difficult to work with. However, her supporters argue that such claims often target strong-willed women who challenge authority. This aspect of the case has reignited debates about gender dynamics in Hollywood.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump?
You've got two nice ones.
And they are kind of bumps, aren't they?
No, not bumps. The lovely lady lumps. Check it out.
Thank you, thank you. You like the movie? Are you a Woody Allen fan? I love most of his movies, and this one was so visually amazing. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Did you guys love wearing those kind of clothes that you? Yeah.
Yeah.
And working in digital.
Everyone wants to talk about the clothes, but I wonder if they would ask the men about the clothes.
I would. I love Jesse's suits and how
that's what I'm saying. His wardrobe was beautiful.
I know.
Corey's wardrobe was gorgeous. Those high-waisted pants.
He's so great.
I would wish men wore high-waisted pants like that still. Or the father with his tank top in bed.
It's so good.
It's just like
Did you
that.
catch
You could feel
the
it.
tablecloth on the light in the Italian restaurant when they eat spaghetti?
I didn't notice that. No.
There's so much warmth of everything,
Yeah, it's not just the women that have the clothes.
But
I feel like the women get the conversation, but it's every detail with everybody.
Yeah,
it
was amazing
beautiful.
to look at.
Sleeves,
and then to see
white
it,
suits.
Yes.
And then you notice in LA, everybody's in cream colors and all the men are wearing white and cream. And then you get to New York and it's a little bit more browns and moodier. And Susie really told such a story.
Yeah. Baldoni's countersuit seeks $400 million in damages, alleging defamation and civil extortion. The staggering amount has drawn criticism, with some viewing it as a tactic to intimidate Lively. Baldoni's team argues that the lawsuit reflects the severe harm to his career and reputation.
Are you going to sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megan. Wait till you see this lawsuit.
Oh boy. Well, for what?
I'm just going to tell you, you're going to have to wait and see. It's coming up soon. But it's all going to be based on evidence. It's not going to be just a lawsuit. It's going to be the kind of lawsuit that is full of evidence, admissions, documents, which prove exactly what she did and how she bullied her way through the process to take over the movie and used her PR people to try and destroy Justin. And that's what it's going to be, essentially about. But there will be a number of causes of action. There's a number of different defendants here. Stephanie Jones will be all over this complaint. That is the PR agent who was supposed to be working for Justin Baldoni. There's Leslie Sloan, who's another PR agent who will be part of this lawsuit. That was Blake Lively's. Blake Lively will be sued. And we're carefully considering other people that will be sued also. And some of them will come as a surprise. Ryan Reynolds, for sure.
With both lawsuits moving forward, the battle is far from over. As court dates approach, both parties are expected to release additional evidence. The legal proceedings could have lasting repercussions for everyone involved, shaping future conversations about accountability and creative control in Hollywood.
There's always friction that happens when you make a movie like this.
This ends with me. I'm done. I'm tired.
Less than 12 hours after Justin filed, Blake's legal team doubled down, calling the bombshell $400 million lawsuit another chapter in the abuser playbook. The strategy of attacking the woman is desperate, and it will fail.
It comes down to the hard evidence, which in this case are going to be text messages, emails, and certainly witness testimony as to what really happened here.
Among the dozens of receipts in Justin's suit, a text exchange in which Blake refers to herself as Game of Thrones Khaleesi, calling husband Ryan Reynolds and bestie Taylor, quote, "my dragons who protect those I fight for," adding, "we all benefit from those gorgeous monsters of mine. You will too, I can promise you." 'Cause it loves me. Blake also calls Ryan and Taylor dance moms level stage moms. This after Justin claims he was summoned to a meeting at Ryan and Blake's penthouse.
The Blake Lively-Justin Baldoni legal battle is more than a personal feud. It's a spotlight on power struggles, gender dynamics, and the evolving standards of professional conduct in Hollywood.
There's always friction that happens when you make a movie like this.
This ends with me. I'm done. I'm tired.
Less than 12 hours after Justin filed, Blake's legal team doubled down, calling the bombshell $400 million lawsuit another chapter in the abuser playbook. The strategy of attacking the woman is desperate, and it will fail.
As both sides continue to present their evidence, the case promises to keep audiences and the industry riveted. So what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more updates, and hit that bell so you never miss a thing.